I was recording on another app. That app kept stopping. It pissed me off. So I deleted that app, and now I'm using this. Y'all can currently see I'm moving a lot smoother in the video, so that's great. And I already talked about how reality TV kept hiding stuff inside the other recording. I'm not gonna say all that bullshit again. I'm gonna skip this big ad.
Legendary for burning other contestants' socks, sabotaging food supplies, and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't. Despite the show's focus on strategy and endurance, Russell became legendary for burning other contestants' socks, sabotaging food supplies, and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't just playing the game, he was thriving on manipulation and control, and fans love to hate him for it. Some contestants wear these dark triad traits like a badge of honor. Tiffany New York Pollard is one of the most iconic reality stars in history who was unapologetic about stirring up drama on VH1's Flavor of Love.
Not you. You can choke. This was the first interaction I really had with Rain, so I wanted to see her anger level. I wanted to see if I was powerful enough to twist her mind. It was a mind thing. She got.
Hold up. So you did that shit on purpose? Hold the hell up. You did that on purpose? I know y'all can't see the button thing that usually has the timer on it that shows recording. It's right here. So it's like a small bubble, which I love, so it's not observing my fucking screen, and because it be popping up like random in places. I'm gonna put it down here because see, it's gonna move to a small spot so you can't see it, so it won't pop up, which I love.
Mind screwed by me, and it worked. My advice to the other ladies in the house would be beware of me, because I'm not backing down.
Or take Stephen Bear from X on the Beach. He built a persona around seduction, betrayal, and exploiting his relationships for entertainment, but it turns out this was no persona. This was actually who he was in real life. Bear was convicted and jailed for revenge porn after leaking explicit.
Oh, damn. Oh. Nigga, I didn't know he did. Oh. Shit, I said it. Niggas be hiding. They wait, them telling you it's them. Wait, what did I say? LTV contestant has been found guilty of disclosing a private sexual film after a video of having sex with a woman was published on OnlyFans. Oh, shared a CCTV video of himself and Joseph Harrison, 27, effectively selling it for money. Oh, you going to jail? Oh yeah, take that nigga away. Voyeurism and 2 counts of disclosing private sexual photographs and films. As I said, she had been through absolute hell since 2020. And Big Brother winner was found guilty of all charges after more than 8.5 hours of deliberation. Oh, damn, bro.
Footage of an ex-partner online. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison. Psychologist Pamela B. Rutledge says that the perfect reality TV star and the perfect scammer or con artist have many overlapping traits. Actors, con artists, and scammers all tend to exude energy and have excellent powers of persuasion. The best scammers can project something desirable and likable about themselves to increase perceptions of trust and appear to offer an opportunity with lots of upside while glossing over the risks. And to no surprise, there are literally countless people who were found guilty of financial crimes before or after appearing on reality TV. Jen Shah from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was running a telemarketing scam, targeting vulnerable, often elderly individuals. Shah pleaded guilty and was later sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $6.5 million in restitution. Teresa Giudice from The Real Housewives of New Jersey served 11 months in prison after committing multiple acts of financial fraud. Richard Hatch from Survivor was indicted for fraud and tax evasion. Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty of both evading taxes.
Bro, damn. Damn. the heck? What the freak? Bro, he just going through the list. He just going through a list, bro.
And conspiracy to defraud community banks out of more than $30 million to fund their lavish lifestyle. Julie and Todd were sentenced to 7 and 12 years in prison, but lucky for them, another reality star scammer had the power to personally pardon them. If you just Google reality star fraud, you'll get so many different examples that it actually looks like these producers are intentionally trying to cast scammers to be on their show. But show producers have been criticized for not doing enough due diligence to avoid platforming bad or immoral people. Since they go through a deep vetting process, they should know about any potential controversies. Bachelor contestants met with a private investigator who is, quote, trained to dig up any skeletons in the closet, partly to use for their storyline, but also to get ahead of any tabloid stories that could come to the surface if they were on the show. Had they ever been arrested? Had they ever sent nude photos to anyone? Had they ever made an X tape? Had they gotten a DUI? Recently, Love Island cast member Sierra Ortega was removed from season 7 after posts from years ago resurfaced showing her using a racial slur that was historically used to attack Asian people. Outrage erupted online, she was labeled a racist, and fans demanded that she be removed from the show. She announced that she left the show due to a personal situation and then issued an apology online.
I had no
An original Winding Paths interactive story. Choose your path.
Due to a personal situation and then issued an apology online.
I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't.
Sierra also noted in her apology that angry fans called ICE on her family, and she posted a slew of extremely hateful messages and threats she was receiving. To give you an idea of the magnitude of Love Island and this controversy, Sierra's apology video has over 20 million views. Now, some people were confused why this was being treated as a new news story, considering she had publicly addressed and apologized for the use of this slur before she was ever on Love Island, and that raised some conspiracies. Some suggest that producers knew about this controversy before the masses did and actively ignored it. Because if you think about it, Love Island only benefits from Sierra's backlash, as her name is directly tied to the Netflix series. I think it's safe to assume that when it comes to a reality TV show, all publicity is good publicity, right? When Love is Blind faced similar backlash for allegedly platforming bad people, creator Chris Colin defended their vetting process. We have background checks and psychological evaluations. Everyone in the world has a...
You say all this stuff, but dog, you already have proven the fact that this has happened already. You've done it multiple times. In fact, people are not believing. I'm here to say, Love is Blind. Chris says we aren't the police. Ever seen back in the fan back of our vetting process. Well, it's true, y'all. I'm trying to say they are not the police. They do not care about this son in the past bad. All they care about is getting them niggas on their show and getting views. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Y'all gonna meet like tons of those niggas, type of niggas. Them niggas do not care, bro. I'm not just, they don't care.
Story, and we aren't the police. These shows don't take accountability for the actions of their contestants because, well, realistically, they aren't to blame, but also because they aren't exactly looking for the most morally righteous individuals in the first place. Producers want a perfect mix of unpredictable, toxic, and genuine personalities, which when thrown in a room together for long enough are guaranteed to cause chaos and produce dramatic television. Then again, producers' psychological manipulation tactics can even have genuine people behave differently than they normally would. Sarah Hartshorn, who was cast on America's Next Top Model in 2007, described producers exuding a subtle tactic. Thousands upon thousands sent in audition tapes from all over the country, every single state. We had casting scouts all over looking for candidates, and you guys are the ones who made it. You're here, and it's not just your looks. You all know that being a top model is more than that. It's who you are, and one of you is America's Next Top Model. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. By framing the contestants as chosen and exceptional, producers create a height.
Damn. Okay, I just think he went that far. I didn't think it went that far, because that would mean they're using psychological words. They're choosing their words carefully to make people really believe, oh, you were specifically chosen out of all. Because no, you were chosen because it's the fact of you had the best characteristic traits that they needed for their show, not because, oh, we just like, no, they did that on purpose, basically to say we did it only because you had the best characteristics. That's basically what they're saying. And I know once it gets to that point, I know that sooner or later those same people will basically get hit with the hardest backlash of all time. You will see people get mad at you of the fact of, why did you let this happen, and all that other stuff. People was going to come at them, but they will say the same thing: it is not our problem, because it isn't. For one, they are not in charge of what happens after the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm counting my gummies. I don't give a fuck about this, but still, that is true. A lot of the times, those people will not care about who or what happens next in a person's life. You could be doing good as hell and still end up basically as seen as the villain. That's basically what it is. You could be seen as some of the best people, but be seen specifically as the villain of everybody else. It don't matter if you're doing good. If you did something in the past that made the public hate you, that hate will stick 24/7 until you die. Or
Sense of
until
purpose and
something really
pressure.
big
It
passes
deepens the
by.
emotional investment of the cast, making them more willing to endure extreme conditions or humiliation for the sake of not wasting their once-in-a-lifetime shot. It also shifts the power dynamic in favor of the producers. Contestants are no longer just people, they're characters in the producer's story that they feel obligated to live up to. And before ever stepping onto the set, contestants are almost always required to sign strict contracts, often including details.
I said it before in the other videos that I tried to record. They will put those contracts in y'all faces and force y'all to basically say, oh, well, we signed a contract so we can't disclose certain information, because those contracts are for basically, if y'all get hurt, they are not responsible for. If y'all have psychological damage or physical damage or any other stuff, they are not responsible for that stuff. They cannot do anything, or nor can you disclose anything that happens behind the scenes that isn't on camera. If anything happens on camera, and camera can be discussed. Anything off camera is not allowed to be talked about. That's why most of those shows you watch, you don't know what else happens there. Like with Drewski's thing, in his thing, those dudes didn't sign waiver and stuff like that. Those people were actually there for real and was actually like getting fucked up, and they didn't hide that, and he wasn't gonna let anybody hide that. Those dudes was really, something. That's why that was that stand up, is that, wow. And that thing with Birdman, it wasn't fake. That was really Birdman coming there pressing Drewski and took his chain. That wasn't fake. So those type of people don't hide that, because they're YouTubers and funny people. They're comedians. But at the same time, you see these other shows that do this, and you think, oh, they're doing it too, when they're not. They won't hide anything and won't let those people aren't characters in a story. They were chosen specifically to see who would be a top-notch person.
Non-disclosure agreements. Now, it's easy to understand why NDAs are somewhat necessary to prevent
Yo, chat, I actually just got another update about that lawsuit that's going on, and it's low-key kind of crucial.
NDAs are somewhat necessary to prevent the show's ending from being spoiled by bitter contestants, as the episodes were filmed months in advance, but fans have to wait week after week to find.
They keep saying this. Yeah, as we said, as I said, I mean, not as I said, but basically, this stuff happens before we see it. Before we see it, this happens months or weeks before we're able to actually watch these characters. So all these fights on the show, this happens way before the show even airs. They aren't live and stuff like that. Those things happen weeks before they even put those things out for the public eye. And then after the public sees and watches it, then you find out that all this stuff happened weeks before this thing even was uploaded to the internet. Which is crazy.
What happens. What they don't realize is sometimes these contracts come with threats. Sarah Hartstone recalls America's Next Top Model producers threatening to sue contestants for $5 million if they leaked any information about the show. The contestants were,
as I said, what them contracts do. Them contracts bind you. And people don't understand what NDA means. NDA means non-disclosure agreement. You are not allowed to discuss any type of business or anything like that. You're not allowed to do that. If once you sign that NDA, you aren't allowed to discuss any information or leak any information about the show or anything like that. Like the thing when Kai and that girl got into it, and he told her about her talked about her NDA thing, her NDA contract, which she violated because of the fact that she took this nigga's picture without consent while he was sleeping, and then posted it while he was clearly fucking knocked out naked. And it's different if he was on stream doing it. This happened while YouTube were asleep. Not even while he was asleep, while he was asleep. It wasn't even on stream. He was completely knocked out asleep. And you did this while he was knocked out. Then decided to post it. Then after he humiliated you, you proceed to basically get on the fact of, and then you try to go at him like, girl, do you know who you fucking with? That nigga is the Kendrick Lamar of Twitch. You think you finna get that nigga? And then after he held effect, she then came out with an apology at the fact of basically you ruined your own career without him doing shit. Because her producers and the people who she signed the NDA with were going to see it and already kick her off their stuff because of the fact of, why in the hell would you take a picture of somebody without knocked out naked in their bed, and then you took a picture of Kai Cenat, not realizing the fact of, if they called Kai Cenat and basically asked him to react to their show or one of their episodes, that could have got them so much more viewers and more money. But because of what you did, that ruined all the relationship and connections they was finna have with Kai. And now they have to rekindle it by basically letting you go and deal with the backlash by yourself.
shook. They thought, we don't have $5 million. The producers replied, we know you don't. We know all about all of your financial information. None of you have $5 million. None of your families have $5 million either. But the NDAs can go even further. They can prohibit contestants from publicly discussing production conditions, mental health struggles during filming, and any manipulative.
That's what the NDA means. This NDA contract basically means if you want to basically appear on a show, you can't say any of this stuff. If you say anything like this out there, you can no longer come back on their show because you're exposing them, to stuff. And that means every other character, every other person you work with is gonna end up basically lying, say, "Oh, that's not true, that ain't happened." When you know it's happening, but the producers and the rest of them don't want to lose their jobs and positions, so they say you're lying. everybody turns on you and you become the shadow in the background. You get pushed out of production. You get forced out because you are no longer working with them. Basically, that's what that does. You will no longer be allowed to work with them. And seeing all this happen, you realize that wow, them people do not give a fuck about anybody besides themselves, which is true. Most of the time, those people do not care. I'm sorry to say, those dudes will not care until it's too late, and you realize then that they did not care about their production until it was too late.
Tactics producers use behind the scenes. Take this viral Reddit post from a former reality show contestant, for example. The producers made me go through hell for 4 months. I lost my house, my car, my business, my boyfriend. I was very naive and they exploited me to the point of a mental breakdown.
Most likely, if I'm correct, I feel like this happened, I think, on one of those love things. And I think all this fucked up this person's thing and caused them to lose every fucking thing. Because the fact that they could not do anything about it after signing that NDA.
They use contracts to hold me hostage in a sense, gaslit me every day. I can't even bring myself to discuss what they did as it's so upsetting to think of, as they used me and I feel so stupid. I'm now living with my parents at 40, too afraid to date or work again, and have overwhelming shame. Now sure, this could just be a random person on the internet making this whole thing up, but this anonymous recount sounds exactly like the countless personal stories I will share throughout this video. So now that producers have acquired a
Listen, paying $14.99 a month for a streaming app and $9.99 a month for a music app and
a perfect cast of clashing personalities, instilled all of them with a slight god complex, and prevented them from revealing any information about their experience, the next thing to do is manipulate their surroundings, restricting their diet, and implementing borderline torturous tactics to manufacture chaos. And it all starts with 24/7 surveillance. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mic is put on. When you go to bed, it's taken off. On The Bachelor, contestants sign contracts in which they must agree to be filmed up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Nah, y'all, I want you to remember this. Remember that video that came out about how those people was recording while asleep? I want you to imagine they were recording and viewers kept waking them up. Now imagine you are being recorded 24 hours or 7 hours a day. 24 hours. That means that camera is never stopping. It keeps recording and recording and recording. The whole day, even the next day, it doesn't stop recording. And guess what happens? All those people reacting and watching, if they're watching it live, if they're recording it and then posting it onto the thing for episodes, they're gonna see crazy stuff happen on it. They might be you spank your just because you it's happening on screen. Because that's what them shows, like when they live and sleep at them places that the producers and companies make them sleep at. That stuff happens. That's gonna happen 24/7. It's not just gonna be one time, 2 times, 3 times. This is going to happen multiple times. Yeah, because you signed that agreement. You have to be a part of the show. Most of the shows, they're gonna make you require, oh, you're gonna have to sign this to be a part of the show. You need to sign this to be filmed 24 hours a day. That shit makes you, because it makes you anxious of, what if I do something wrong and it's recorded, and because they record inside these people's bedrooms, inside these people cars, all that stuff is being recorded, cameras installed everywhere. Shit, they might even have one in the fucking bathroom secretly and you don't even fucking know. Trying to go in there, smack you in secret. Guess what? That's being recorded too. And you don't even know it. Know that they put one in there. That would be because they have to rewatch all this footage of people exposed to like tits out, D out, P out, I say P, meaning the female genital area. Basically they do that because it's effective. They can. They have the money, they have the resources, they have the power. And once that power gets activated, they cannot stop it because they have power over you, they have power over everybody in the production. And you cannot do anything to get out of that.
But this may also be by means of hidden cameras and microphones, according to the contract, meaning they're
Damn, even I said that. I said it. They even have hidden cameras. Dang.
likely going to be caught at some point in a less than positive light. They should have no expectation of privacy. This may seem like an obvious necessity for reality TV to function. After all, the only way they can capture reality is by making sure literally everything is being filmed and recorded. Right? Sometimes you see a contestant rip off their microphone and storm off to essentially protest being recorded, but the cameras just follow them anyways, and the audience is excited for more drama. It's a harsh reminder that they literally can never escape. On The Bachelor, constant filming is actually sold as a good part of the experience. Contestants open up about things like anxiety, grief, or past trauma, all while the cameras are rolling 24/7, turning their real pain into a part of the show. The audience is made to believe that all this surveillance is necessary to show someone's journey, because towards the end of the show there is literally a highlight reel of all of their pain being broadcast to millions of people. And the craziest part is the contestants have no control of how that pain is edited, manufactured, and presented to the world. Surveillance is done by the producers to maintain complete control over their participants, and this anonymous
Dude is on the phone talking with somebody, and there's a fucking camera in there. Dog, this is supposed to be a private conversation. Why in the fuck are you sitting there recording me?
Love Island contestant described the extreme lengths producers would go to.
When you're there, you don't realise how much you are controlled by them. If you talk too much about life outside of the island, the voice of God, which is like a big speaker, will tell you to shut up. So it's like, this doesn't make good telly. Most of your day is just filled with gossiping about situations inside the villa, because that's all you're allowed to talk about.
Another former Love Island contestant described what producers will do to provoke a situation.
They set up the environment to test you because they know exactly what
Fights, all that stuff, drama. They do that on purpose. They stir the gossip. They stir that pot of the gossip pot. They do it on purpose. I'm telling y'all go and sign up for these shows that I'm a big fan of my. This is the stuff that will happen, and basically will cause you to realize them niggas do not give a fuck about you. They will sit there and let your ass rot it just for views and likes on the show, because it gives them more attention. It gives the show more attention, gets more people watching, gets more people into the show. And guess what? That makes them go up the ladder of what they want on their platform. They're going to keep recording. They're going to keep doing this because they can. It doesn't matter if you say no. It doesn't matter if you try to run away or something like that. Those cameras will follow you. So when you rip off your mic and run away, those cameras will always follow you. You can go, and plus those camera dudes have keys to the rooms. So when you try to run away and lock yourself in a room, they also have keys to those rooms. So they can unlock those doors and just record you. Now, if all the people band together told the cameraman and start ganging up on the cameraman, that's going to put them at risk of getting kicked off the show because they ganged up on the camera dude when they was doing their job. You signed this waiver, which you was forced to sign to be on the show and to be recorded 24/7. Doesn't matter if you want private time. It doesn't matter if you want to be by yourself. It don't matter. They will do this.
you don't like. They know exactly what you're scared of. They know what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to. They know your triggers. So it's very easy for them to manipulate your environment and situations to get the best reaction out of you. And especially when the storyline is not going the way that they want, they know exactly how to fix that because they know you very well. You're literally just a little rat in their experiment, and they're trying to see what they can change and what they can do to see how you're going to react and how far they can push you.
Now, beyond surveillance, one of the foundational elements of a successful reality show is keeping the contestants in pure isolation. In Big Brother, contestants are confined to a house with no access to phones, internet, television, or contact with family and friends. This isolation forces them to rely on their relationships within the house, making every alliance, betrayal, and argument feel more intense. Former Bachelor contestant Leslie Hughes.
And messed up part is all of it is real. Them niggas are getting pushed to the brink of basically, I can't do it no more. That's what it pushes them that far.
Said, "We have nothing. We are completely cut off from the world. We have to talk to each other. We have nothing else to do." Similarly, Love Island isolates contestants in a luxurious villa where they have no communication with the outside world. There are no distractions, and they essentially create this artificial bubble where everything on set becomes the only thing that matters to them.
We didn't have any autonomy at all. Not only did they take our phones, they took our wallets, they took our IDs, they took our passports, all in the same instance, without telling us ahead of time this was going to happen.
And we were filming 18 to 20 hours a day. The only time we weren't being filmed was when the union crews swapped out for a new crew because they had met their maximum for the day.
You never see daylight unless you're allowed to use the bathroom, which is a trailer outside. They keep you in the state where you really have no idea how much time has transpired. It's one of those things where, looking back on it, if someone told me it was...
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish, but did
it was...
This is basically like Mr. Beast challenge. Could you survive 100 days isolated by yourself? You have to survive 100 days by yourself inside of a room. If he would issue that challenge, watch as those dudes start getting depressed, psychological shit start happening. There's stuff on camera that he cannot show on YouTube or Twitch that's be happening on that show because how crazy things get when you're by yourself for 100 days. That's 100 days. That's like about 30, 16, that's 3 months. So that's 3 months and then 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. So imagine that, and that happened to all the people around you, and you're not by yourself. You're with because there's like four. That's so that's 8 people right in one room because there was 4 on each row. So that would be approximately like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people with you, watching with you, waiting with you, hoping to get the fuck out that room.
A month, I might have believed them.
So what else can they do to...
How much time has transpired?
They had met their maximum for the day.
You never see daylight.
The only time...
They took our IDs, they took our passports.
Oh, never mind. That's like 10 niggas.
All in the...
was the only thing that matters to them.
We didn't have any autonomy at all. Not only did they take our phones, they took our wallets, they took our IDs, they took our...
That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
passports,
19.
all in the same
people
instance, without telling us ahead of time this was going to happen.
And we were filming 18 to 20 hours a day. The only time we weren't being filmed was when the union crews swapped out for a new crew because they had met their maximum for the day.
You never see daylight unless you're allowed to use the bathroom, which is a trailer outside. They keep you in the state where you really have no idea how much time has transpired. It's one of those things where, looking back on it, if someone told me it was a month, I might have believed them.
So what else can they do to cure their boredom? Well, have you ever noticed just how much alcohol is being consumed on reality TV shows?
This is another thing I noticed. They make you get drunk on those shows. It makes your characteristics come out more. And as your characteristics come out more, it will cause more people to watch, not realizing you're either under the influence under the influence or high. None of them know that.
Feels like most of the explosive moments or juicy drama erupts after a night of heavy drinking. Nick Bateman from Big Brother said, "Alcohol was given to us when we were feeling down or depressed or nothing was going on, because obviously alcohol is the Molotov cocktail producers use to liven things up." Bateman says drinks were coveted by contestants because it would quell the boredom of being captive in the house. Bronwyn Wyndham Burke from The Real Housewives of Orange County says that producers took it a step further. Whenever you're filming, they have alcohol there. They ask you before you go on a trip, what kind do you like? They get to know what your favorites are. And while producers don't force you to drink, alcoholic beverages were readily available, and that sometimes during scenes, cast members were discouraged from eating. Jeremy Hartwell, who was a Love is Blind contestant, sued the company alleging that he could not access food and water, but alcohol was available and even encouraged on an empty stomach. Now, it's one thing to give a bunch of partiers some alcohol, but putting restrictions on their diet is just borderline.
DJ!
There we go.
A lot of evidence that supports this tactic. On The Bachelor, contestants are not allowed to eat any food during their dates because the microphones pick up the unpleasant sounds. No one looks good eating, and microphones pick up all kinds of chomping. Now, this seems like a justifiable reason, and even though it sounds messed up, in shows like Survivor or Alone, contestants aren't fed enough to contestants.
The reason why they like that is mostly because they don't want people, and I know that sounds probably disgusting as hell whenever somebody eats something and you hear the like you're watching like your favorite YouTubers eat like food, like a mukbang basically. It's like that. A great example is me because I'm gonna eat these dang oranges. But yeah, that's basically how it is. They don't want nobody here, but the other part is they don't feed them enough, so that's where the mic doesn't pick up chomps. They don't feed them like loud food.
Aren't fed enough to somewhat mimic the simulated reality of surviving in the wild. But one could also theorize that low blood sugar could prompt emotional reactions, pushing contestants towards emotional or medical breakdowns. In Mr. Beast games, contestants complained about their food rations. One meal reportedly included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. They also described going long stretches without being fed by the production. There were times when the production staff gave out small feastable chocolate bars and filmed some people eating and praising the candy. Contestants with food allergies and dietary restrictions struggled more than others. Before the competition, people filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document was provided to contestants in advance of the event and said that all dietary and food restrictions would be taken into consideration. However, several contestants claimed to be served food they were allergic to and that alternatives hadn't been provided. "We were treated horribly," a contestant said. "They took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they needed an enormous crew to handle this correctly." So now that producers have trapped and isolated borderline toxic people who are malnourished and pumped with alcohol, at the very least, a good night's sleep would be their last chance to recalibrate. Well, they don't get that either, because sleep deprivation is one of the most messed up but crucial parts of the reality show entertainment formula.
With Villa Light, there's no clocks. What they was doing was like keeping you up really late, waking you up early, so then you're going to react more because you like basically got sleep deprivation.
Most competition reality shows follow a similar daily routine. Wake up early in the morning, typically around 7 a.m., then they go do their competitions or tasks for the day.
This is going to happen. Please do not try this.
Then in the evenings, they talk strategy or socialize with another while getting drunk. Now, you have to keep in mind that producers' top priority is to get 45 minutes of watchable television each day. They can count on roughly half of the airtime coming from the actual competitions or tasks, but the other half needs to be the all-too-sweet drama that everyone craves. And if the day is coming to an end and they don't think they have enough, they will keep the contestants awake. For 3 years, Sarah Shapiro worked as as a producer on the reality show The Bachelor. Her task, as she recalls it, was to get the contestants to open up and to give them terrible advice and to deprive them of sleep. She sees it now as complicated manipulation through friendship. In Jeremy Hartwell's lawsuit against Love is Blind, he said that they implemented what was called night dating. We didn't have clocks or anything, so it's hard to know exactly when it happened, but typically the night dates would last until about 2 a.m. He estimates that between getting back to his hotel room at 3 a.m. and being expected in the lobby at 7:15 a.m., he got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. On the challenge, cast members have reported being kept up until 3 or 4 a.m. and then forced into physically demanding tasks just a few hours later. On Love Island, lights in the villa stay on until producers decide it's time for bed, and contestants are often woken up abruptly for surprise challenges. The lights are on the entire time during Big Brother taping, even when the contestants are asleep. Interestingly enough, this is the same tactic that is used by the toughest maximum security prison in El Salvador. Privacy and sleeping with the lights off is considered a privilege.
The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. When the sun goes down, the lights stay on all the time.
They are constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light.
And if all this manipulation, control, pushing contestants to their breaking point still isn't enough to make a good show, producers have one final weapon. They'll rewrite
Oh yeah, this. Oh, I know, the editing and shit like that.
reality itself through a process known as frankenbiting. Frankenbiting is the editing technique reality TV producers use to reshape a contestant's words and actions into whatever storyline they want, even if it's not what actually
happened. That's it. This happens with a lot of shows. So they don't, well, you don't know that the person is telling the truth or not. And they do it multiple times. They do it mostly because, one, they don't want anybody to find out about the fact of what they're being treated for.
happened. Editors take small clips of dialogue, sometimes even single words or reactions, and stitch them together to create entirely new sentences or emotional responses that never happened in real life. Now, a lot of the time, this seems to be completely innocuous. Like this clip from The Bachelor. The girl who says, "shut up," is spliced into the edit to make it look
There's a creative side hustle almost nobody is talking about, and it's not content creation, being a YouTuber or a streamer or freelancing. It's voice acting. And with the right strategy,
says "shut up" is spliced into the edit to make it look like she interrupted Corinne.
I know that I may not be everyone's favorite person.
Shut up.
And I feel like there's like things going on behind my back.
See? That was not what she said. This is a whole nother clip or another audio something she said, and they don't want anybody to know she didn't actually say this.
Or comments or whispers. And
in that moment in real life, when Corinne was talking, Jamie did not interrupt her and say "shut up." That was taken from an entirely different moment out of context. And then the women who are shown laughing after Jamie says "shut up" was also clearly taken out of context. This happens so often in reality TV, and it's extremely clunky to watch. It often makes me wonder how people get so invested when you can see that things are manipulated even for the smallest reasons. However, sometimes situations are chopped up so much and narratives are so distorted that it's shameful producers got away with it. On season 1 of Joe Millionaire in 2003, Sarah Kozer was being portrayed as the bad girl. Producers set up a scene where Sarah and Evan go for a walk into the dark yard where the cameras cannot capture them. They took audio from Sarah getting a back massage from another female castmate hours before and then put it over a vague panning shot of the backyard and made it seem like she was giving Evan top in the woods.
They made made it look like she gave him head in the woods.
But even when Sarah tried to go to the press after the show was over and convince everyone that the whole scene was taken out of context, people around the world were not convinced.
Let me take a couple of calls. All right, let's go to Randy. Randy.
You went into the woods. We all heard the slurpy noise.
Right, you know what? I hate to break it to you. I just want you to entertain the possibility that perchance not everything you see on television is exactly
You didn't give him moral?
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
They tell people this multiple times. As you've seen, this is not how it happened. This is a whole little clip. They make this fake. It's not real. It's all fake.
As soon as he didn't pick you and you heard he didn't have the money, you were devastated. You're nothing but a gold-digging white trash loser.
Although Sarah
It wasn't until years later when people find out, oh, she was telling the truth. They still kept thinking, oh, she actually had him in her head. Turns out that's not what happened.
handled this scrutiny from the public with grace, others fell victim to the immense backlash. One of the darkest consequences of reality show editing is how quickly contestants become targets for obsessive, toxic fandoms, which has mostly been aimed towards people who have been labeled as villains on the show. And to some degree, you can't blame the fans. After all, they can only judge a contestant based on what they
The producers
seen on the show, but as we know, these shows are barely a reflection of who that person actually is. What makes it worse is these mass harassment campaigns often come from fans who believe they're acting on some kind of moral high ground. They'll flood a contestant's social media with hate, send death threats, and in some cases, dig up private information like addresses or family details. Olivia Atwood from Love Island UK opened up about receiving over 3,000 messages a day after her season aired, many of them telling her she didn't deserve to live.
Oh, dang, that's a bit far.
Another is Big Brother's Aaron Grease, who spoke about how viewers campaigned for her to lose her job after producers portrayed her as a manipulator through selective.
So let me get it straight. Y'all made me out to be a villain, out to be hated. Then when it gets too bad to the point where death threats and these niggas are calling my fucking work to tell them to fire me, is crazy. And that's when y'all finally step in and tell people to leave this person alone. When they are driven to the point of they can no longer go outside and work, they don't feel safe. Y'all do it then. Do y'all realize how fucked up that is? That you would drive somebody to that point of basically, wow, we gonna wait till you almost at the brink of social collapse or mental collapse. We're gonna wait till you on the brink of it, then we go come in and step in. But the collapse already happened and it's too late.
Editing, but sometimes the harassment doesn't end with hateful comments. For some contestants, the public mauling and emotional toll have pushed them beyond their breaking point. A stat that absolutely blew my mind was that at least 40 people have died on their own volition after their appearances on reality TV. Hana Kimura, a female professional wrestler who was among the cast of the popular Japanese reality series Terrace House, died at age 22. She posted a goodbye message on social media after receiving a storm of hate online. Love Island had 2 contestants in back-to-back seasons.
Oh no. Dog.
Suffer the same fate. Sophie Graydon, age 32 in 2018, and Mike Thalassia after receiving a storm of hate online. Love Teen. The Bachelor had 2 women from in back-to-back seasons suffer the same fate. Sophie Graydon, age 32 in 2018, and Mike Thalassia, age 26 in 2019. The Bachelor had 2 women from the same exact season pass, Alexa McAllister and Gia Allemond. What if I told you that the
Okay, what the freak is that? Oh my god. Okay, that's face. But that's crazy, bro. Imagine this: you're chilling unknown of anything that happened to the person you just did a whole role and stuff with, and two people end up taking their lives on the same season. This happened on the same season within the same few episodes. This happened. What do you do, dog? You can't feel nothing but sad over the fact of it was because of the producers funding and the funding of the show. You can only blame them because of the fact of what they did and how far they took it, and didn't do anything about it until it was too late.
Very first person who was ever voted off a reality show in history also suffered the same fate. Would that not be a slight indication of a broken system? In June 1997, Sinisa Savija became the first person in the world to ever be voted off a reality TV competition. The show was called Expedition Robinson. 4 weeks after he was voted off, he walked in front of a train. 9 weeks after that, the first episode of Expedition Robinson aired anyway. Before I started researching this video, I knew reality shows were pretty messed up, but I had no idea just how many tragic losses have been suffered from former contestants and the countless other attempts that have been made. And of course, this fate is never the result of just one thing. It's an incredibly complex and deep decision influenced by
For several years, I'm not gonna say that, of contestants who complete on reality TV shows has cast a dark shadow on the journey. Commentators on the Bachelor, competitors, it was illiterate. Competitors on the Bachelor, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, The Voice, and Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares have taken their own. And just days ago, I'm not saying say that. Hannah Kimura, a 22-year-old former cast member at the Netflix Japanese reality TV series Terrace House, shocked fans. Kimura has suffered a huge amount of harassment and online. And available focus will shift on how much support the contestants on these shows are offered by producers to deal with the negative attention that follows their appearances. Many hope her passing will serve as a painful eye-opener, a teachable moment, even though this is a lesson we all dang.
countless factors. But when reality shows follow the same formula again and again, calculated casting, 24/7 surveillance, isolating contestants, restricting their diet, flooding them with alcohol, depriving them of sleep, turning them essentially into controlled robots, and then putting all of their worst moments on display to millions of people, it's easy to see the inherent evil reality TV needs to have to create the entertainment. And with so many lives lost, it starts to make you wonder if
Dying for fame. 21 relatives committed in a decade? Oh no.
this obviously broken system will ever change.
Up with the gaming lawsuit? The gaming lawsuit is still active. Like I said, all you have to do is play at least 10 hours a week in the lab.
Shut up, please. So yeah. Okay, that was a video. Dog, I didn't think it would get that dark. Oh. Okay, I didn't think it would get dark, but make sure y'all go watch the video. Stop ignoring the dark side of reality TV. Please, and I tell you this, please do not go on these reality shows thinking everything is cool. They will kill life up and mess up everything. Please don't do this. Y'all will go down a rabbit hole of I don't even know. But thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see y'all later.